Have you ever found yourself in a place where it feels like life is at a standstill? Where everything feels silent? You pray, you fast, you believe, and yet nothing seems to be happening. But what if I told you that silence is sacred? That delay is divine? That God hasn't forgotten you. He's just not finished writing. He hasn't turned his back on your situation. In fact, he is preparing to shift things in your favor. Even if it seems like the silence is too long or the waiting is too heavy, don't lose heart. There is a divine turnaround in motion. If you're in a season where nothing makes sense, where prayers feel unanswered and promises seem delayed, hold on. God's plan is still unfolding. We live in a world that despises waiting. Everything is instant, fast food, quick text, same-day delivery. But God operates on eternal timing. He's not moved by clocks. He's moved by purpose. And the purpose he has for your life is too precious to be rushed. When you're in the waiting room of life, it can feel like your story is stuck on pause. But heaven doesn't waste time. It prepares in silence. Some of the most powerful breakthroughs are born in the dark, like seeds in soil, like dreams in hidden places. Scripture shows us glimpses of God's character and his promise to bring beauty from ashes. When he says he's doing a new thing, he means it. And often that new thing begins beneath the surface, unseen and unnoticed. Picture a dry, lifeless desert suddenly blooming with vibrant colors after a long-awaited rain. That's how God moves. He can bring freshness into the most barren areas of your life. You may not perceive it right away, but something is shifting in the spiritual realm. While you're waiting, he's working. While you're weeping, he's weaving. Even the silence has a purpose. And when the time is right, what God has been forming in secret will burst forth in public. Let me remind you of someone who's often overlooked. Zechariah. He and his wife Elizabeth had prayed for a child for years, decades of silence. But God broke that silence with a miracle that shook the very foundations of history, the birth of John the Baptist. What was seen as a delay was actually divine alignment. You see, God doesn't just show up on time. He shows up when the time is right. Zechariah's story teaches us this. God may make you wait, but he never forgets what he promised. It's not just about what you're waiting for. It's about who you're becoming while you wait. Sometimes God holds the pen because he's rewriting not just the ending, but you. You might feel like you're in a holding pattern, circling the same prayers, hoping for a sign. But here's what you need to know. The God who authored your beginning already knows your end. His intentions for you are never destructive. They are always purposeful. When you're tempted to question the detours and delays, remember that God never wastes pain, and he never makes mistakes. Every disappointment, every delay, every detour is being used to align you with a greater outcome. His thoughts about your future are drenched in hope and filled with purpose. So if it feels like doors are closing, if it feels like people are walking away, if it feels like heaven is quiet, don't panic. That's the sound of a pen touching fresh pages. God is writing again. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. God doesn't delay to disappoint you, he delays to develop you. Because where he's taking you requires deeper roots, stronger faith, and unshakable identity. It's vital to hold on to the truth that all things, yes, all things, are working together for good to those who love him and are walking in alignment with his purpose. That means even the uncomfortable seasons have value. Even the delays are part of the design. Even the setbacks are setting you up for something greater. God is not passive in your waiting. He is active. He is aligning hearts, opening doors, and preparing the stage for your next. While others are celebrating now, don't envy them. Their chapter is different. You're not behind. You're being refined. Your story is still being shaped by divine hands. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not disqualified. Heaven sees you. And in the quiet corners of your life, God is moving, not loudly, but powerfully. What if I told you that next year you won't recognize yourself? That what you're crying over now will be the testimony you can't stop telling later? God is about to flip the script. But here's the key: be patient. Don't try to take the pen. Don't rush the author. Trust the process even when it's uncomfortable. Trust the plot even when it doesn't make sense. Be patient in the wilderness. Be patient in the waiting room. Be patient when no one claps for you. Because when God reveals what He's been writing, it will make sense why you had to wait. Patience isn't just about holding on. It's about how we hold on. Are we complaining or cultivating? Are we growing bitter or getting better? When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check its progress. You water it. You nurture it. You believe it will bloom in its season. That's what faith does. It trusts the unseen and speaks life while waiting. There will be moments when doubt knocks, when you question if God's heard your prayers. But let those doubts drive you deeper into the Word. Let them push you closer to His promises. God is not ignoring you. He's inviting you to grow. He's stretching your faith and expanding your vision. This delay is not denial. This pause is preparation. And what's coming will be worth every second you waited. And above all, guard your faith. Don't let delay drain your belief. Keep that flame alive. Feed it with the Word. Water it with worship. Surround yourself with those who speak life and stir your passion for God. Faith is not passive. It's a fight. And you must fight to keep believing when the evidence hasn't shown up yet. Declare God's promises. Speak life into dead situations. Worship even when you don't feel like it. Sometimes we're so eager for movement that we miss the beauty in the stillness. But the stillness is sacred. It's the training ground for trust. When things are quiet, that's when our faith is tested and our character is refined. God isn't just focused on where you're going. He's deeply invested in who you're becoming along the way. And becoming takes time. Trusting that process means believing God is doing something meaningful even when you feel stuck. Faith isn't just believing when things go well. It's standing firm when everything around you looks contrary. It's stepping forward even when the path is unclear. It's lifting your hands when your heart is heavy. That's the kind of faith that moves mountains. That's the kind of faith God responds to. And as you continue walking by faith, prepare yourself, because a shift is coming. What you've prayed for, fasted for, cried over, it's on its way. Change is near. God is aligning the pieces, softening hearts, opening opportunities. The same God who made a way in the wilderness and split seas wide open is about to shift your life in ways you didn't expect. Stay expectant, stay grounded, stay ready, because the change you've been preparing for is already on the horizon. It will make sense why the door had to close, why the relationship didn't work, why you were hidden for a season. Because what's coming needs a you that has been tested, trusted, and transformed. God is not done with you. In fact, the delay was never a detour. It was divine direction. You're closer than you think. There's a version of your story that only God can write. Not the version fear told you, not the version people projected onto you, but the version heaven ordained before you were born. So lift your head, dry your tears, and stand in faith, because the next chapter is not just better, it's blessed, and it begins with patience. God is about to rewrite your story in such a way that even you will be in awe. People who counted you out will ask how it happened. And your only answer will be, God did it. So be patient. The author is at work. The pages are turning, and your story is not over. It's just beginning. In God's time, the wait will be worth it. And when the ink dries, glory will follow. With God's help, you will get there. Keep trusting. Keep waiting. Your story is in His hands. If this message blessed you, share it with someone who needs encouragement today.